welcome to the Shelly Studio. Today I'm gonna make some tags. I guess you call them tags. So I've been reorganizing. I was gathering up all my travel-y type journals and putting them all in one place. And they don't have any kind of identifier on the outside. And I'd seen a video, I thought it was by Camellia Crafts Designs, but I couldn't find it on her channel. She does have several similar to it, so I'll link her in the description box below, and I can't find where my original inspiration came from. I really got to do better at that. I thought I had put it in my Watch Later playlist just so I could go find it. That's what I try to do, so I can find videos that I've watched that that I'm inspired by. But anyway, so the first thing I'm doing is I sanded the shiny stuff off of this box. I'm going to use it as my substrate for my tags. Dangles. They're going to hang. And using Yoo-Hoo glue. And I've got some hand-dyed paper. It's just faintly dyed. It's a little bit of coffee, a little bit of Rit dye in blue. So it's got a bluish tint to it, I think. And you really want to get glue on everywhere so you don't end up with air pockets, because we're going to cut this up later. I do end up where I have to fix, you'll see. But I'm trying to smooth it out really well to make sure there's no wrinkles. I'm using the glue stick because I don't want it to ripple. And if you use wet glue, you're going to get ripples. So, especially with my coffee dyed paper, because it's really porous. So, yeah, we'll call this poor man's chipboard, right? The box. So, I'm gluing it down, and you won't be able to see the box through the paper. And that's actually, the paper is actually going to be the back side of the tags, and the brown, except for that grease spot on there. I don't know how that got there. The brown side is going to be the front. I know that seems crazy, right? How you doing today? I hope you're doing well. It's a good day here. This weekend we raked the leaves in our backyard. We have so many trees and so many leaves. It's just crazy. We didn't put it in one big pile, but we have the back half is an open garden area. So we just raked it onto a tarp and then drug it over our ditch into the back area. And hopefully the wind won't blow it back. There are trees and stuff blocking between, so we should be good. I thought I'd show you a picture. That's my sister. Yeah, I posted that out there on Instagram and stuff, so if you follow me on Instagram, you might have seen that picture. There's a lot of work to get all those leaves moved anyway. We have a leaf blower, but it doesn't hold its charge for very long. It did maybe a third of the leaves before we had to start on the rakes. We each have one, so we're both raking, but I had to stop and take a picture. Anyway, so now that these are done, I'm going to set them aside and let them dry. And I put them under a little bit of weight so that they dry flat and don't curve. So you don't see me do that. But while they're drying, this is just end pieces from a book. I think it's an encyclopedia, so it's a little bit stiffer paper. And this is what we're going to type our titles onto. And since they're my travel journals, I'm stamping the locations on here. And I decided to draw a line with a pencil to try and get this as straight as possible. Now this is a really cheap set. and it's hard to align. In fact, when I went to put them away, the S fell off the little block. They're not on the blocks very straight, and it fell off. I've glued it back on. I have not tried it since, so hopefully the glue will keep it on and I can use it again, because I was just thinking in my head of all the places that I'd been, that I'd journaled, and I missed some. In fact, I missed the trip I took just this summer. So I need to make some more. I have extra, I have plenty of the background. Is that what I want to say? The part where I glued onto the cracker box. I have extra of that because I didn't do that many. And I can use it for other things too. I really wanted to dress up those books. My sister's friend is living in our basement, and she has an old china cabinet that she can't get downstairs. It's just too big. So it's sitting in our library, and she says, go ahead and use it. So I've been putting little things that I've gotten on my trips in there, and I decided to put these books in there as well. So they're sitting on the shelf, and they need identifying, right? So I'm just using my small paper trimmer to do this part. It's a really old paper trimmer, and I think it needs a new blade, but it worked for this just fine. In fact, some of my books, I did like bus tours and stuff, so I was in more than one place. I could add a lot more locations, but I don't. I just did the main ones I could think of at the time. And I do make some more. I make some that are just the years, so I could have the year on there. And you'll see those in the end. I don't have you watch me stamp those or cut them or make them, but this isn't a very long video. It was really kind of just a short quickie. I don't make you watch every single thing. Like a little bit of each step so that you know how to do it. But it's not difficult. So the ones that I saw, they had a flat side where the hole is going to be punched, and then a rounded side. So I'm taking my corner rounder and rounding one side, and it's just not lining up perfectly. But yeah, just rounding the end of the word so they'll hang down like that. If that makes sense. Hopefully it does. Yeah, looking at these, it looks like I travel everywhere, doesn't it? People think I do. I have a friend who's a travel agent, and I get to go with her a bit. And so I get good deals with her. In fact, she wants me to set up a trip for viewers and subscribers and fellow artists to go on a cruise, and I'll go on a cruise together and maybe have a couple of art classes. I don't know what I would teach. Maybe I would find somebody to teach a class. I've never taught. Like, I've only just done videos. But I've always thought it would be really fun to take an art cruise. And that wouldn't have to be the whole focus. And we would have to probably get 8 to 16 rooms booked to be able to do it. But hey, if you are interested, give me a heads up. I don't know when we'd do it. It would probably at least a year from now. But yeah, I think it would be fun. All right, so I'm finding ones. I want a little bit of space on the left for the hole, right? So Australia will have to go on my bigger piece. But this one will fit. Which one was this? London? Yeah. But this is how I made the tags. Just cut them out. And then I'll use a corner rounder. My small corner rounder, which I like better, was too thin to put. I couldn't get it in there. So I have to pull out the corner chomper. That's me trying to figure out which side is the side that's the right size. And I always end up with little rough edges. So I pull out my scissors and trim it up a little bit. And this is where I noticed that I didn't get enough glue. So I'm going to have to glue some of the back paper down again. I think I notice it while I'm inking. But wouldn't that be fun to go on a cruise with a bunch of creative people? I think that would be fun. It's just in the early percolating stages. Yeah, see? Have to glue it down. So if you don't get enough glue, it's alright. You can still fix it. And I don't know that I noticed that on very many of them, but yeah. That's all you do. Glue it down, put a little ink around it. Alright. And snap my fingers, and they'll all be that far along. So I just glued them all on and rounded them. And now I'm inking the edges. Like you can't tell. This is a vintage photo, in case you can't read it on the screen. And my ink cover has a little bit of pink on there, and I couldn't figure it out. And then I remembered, oh yeah, I put the foam, I Velcro the foam to the back, and it's in one of those tins, so it must have been behind something that had pink. So it's giving it a little pinkish tint in a spot. All right, so now we're gonna add some eyelets. And I start punching this with the small hole. I don't have any small eyelets, so I switch it around. I repunch those to make them bigger. And yeah, so plus it'll be easier to get the chain. So I took a piece of chain, an old chain necklace, like all it was the chain, and it was old and tarnished, and I took some sections off of it. And that's, I mean, you could use the ball chain stuff. I didn't have any, so I just went for regular chain. You'll see here in a minute. And it was kind of fiddly to do, so you don't see much of that, because, yeah, it was really hard. Because my eyes aren't that good. I had to get really close to see what I was doing. So there, so we put the eyelet in. And that one was rough, or I don't know what was wrong with it, but I had to fix it. And if we did take a cruise, where would you like to go? I can't afford a river cruise. They're really expensive. But the Mediterranean would be fun. The Virgin Islands would be fun. Mexico, if you just, want a less expensive one. So see, there's all my dates. I just did all the dates starting with the 2017. So I know I have journals from before that, but I can't find them. So that'll come later. So there's my little bits of chain, and then I have these bulb pins. I bought these on Amazon. They're a little rusty. Is that normal? Like, where do you guys get your bulb pins? I don't know. I don't know if they got rust with the coloring of them, because there's 3 different colors. I think the silver ones were less rusty, so they might be the original color. But I'm just taking the bulb pin and one end of the chain, and then I'm going to loop it through there. Carefully loop it through. This is the fiddly part. And then take the other end of the chain and have it hang on there. So I think that's all I show of that. Trying to determine the lengths of these chains. They're not very long. I wanted them to be different lengths on there so that the tags hung at different levels. And then the other end. And there they are. And so I have this one ready to go. And I know, I'm sorry, that's a little blurry. That was in there backwards, so I had to fix it. Because I wanted to show on the outside when I stand this up. So I'm just pinning it onto the spine, and it'll hang like that. And I have a couple pictures. See, this was really quick. What do you think? Do you like it? I thought it looked nice. Anyways, if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to check the link below for other ideas on tags. And I hope you have an awesome day.